Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about the judge in the Jean Carroll trial brooking no nonsense from Donald Trump. So the trial is underway. Jean Carroll is testifying. We will come back to you with a report on how that goes. It's obviously the centerpiece of the trial. But before proceedings even began, Jean Carroll's lawyer, Robbie Kaplan, brought up the Truth Social message from Donald Trump, which read, he put it out this morning, among other things, the Jean Carroll case is a made-up scam in all caps. Her lawyer's a political operative. Look at her CNN interview. She totally changed her ways. Then she said there was a dress using the old Monica Lewinsky stuff that she didn't want to produce. It should be allowed to be part of the case. It's a fraudulent and false story witch hunt. Okay, so a few things going on here. First, let me detail just how Judge Kaplan responded to it and what it sort of portends going forward. I actually vetted him for the bench. I know a fair bit about him, and he is a no-nonsense judge, and he's not afraid to show who's boss in the courtroom, and that would be Lewis Kaplan. So he calls after Carroll's lawyer brings it to his attention. He calls Joe Tacopina onto the carpet and says, what is going on here? And says, look, this is potentially an attempt to influence the public and worse, influence this jury, and I won't have it. And Tacopina backpedals and says, I didn't know, etc. But then he pins him to the wall. He doesn't take that for an answer, and he ups the temperature to a pretty significant point. He said, we are getting into an area, conceivably, in which your client may or may not be tampering with a new source of potential liability. And I think you know what I mean. He's threatening to hold Trump in contempt. And underlying that is the potential of putting him in jail for a short time. And Kaplan is showing he's not afraid to do it. And Tacopina said, I will talk to him. And said, I will ask him not to do any further posts regarding this case. I'll ask him. So now, if there's another one from Trump, Kaplan comes back to Tacopina and, the message is sent out. You're gonna be held in front of this court and potentially held in contempt. So that's pretty big news. He could have had just a quiet statement. He could have said, please tell him to refrain, but he upped it to, instead of 10 steps away, maybe 3 steps away from contempt and really, flexing his muscles here. Now, in addition, I just want to point out, as I've written about before, Trump can say all these things, but we're in a special rarefied atmosphere, a jury trial with special rules of how you can present things. So let's say it's true, and it does seem to be true, that Jean Carroll's dress did not produce any DNA. So he wants to, have that announced. She's obviously not going to do it. So the question comes, how can it happen? Now, I think so the one possibility is that the Tacopina or try to cross-examine her about the dress, but the judge has ruled it's irrelevant. It's a dress that doesn't have DNA. And Jean Carroll presumably has dozens and dozens of these. It's off limits. So will Tacopina try to insinuate it on cross in some way and get himself crosswise with the judge? And he's already been admonished. He was interrupted and objections were sustained twice during his opening statement. That is very rare. There's a lot of respect generally given and a lot of rope to a advocate when they're giving their opening or closing statements. But you can see here that the judge is keeping a very tight rein, and we'll see what sort of stunts Tacopina tries to pull, or Trump himself, and how the judge reacts. But at least based on this first foray in the first 24 hours, he's really holding his feet, both Tacopina's and really Trump's, to the fire. All right, so back with a summary of the E. Jean Carroll testimony herself, which will be, kind of everything. Roberta Kaplan, her very formidable lawyer, told the jury this isn't a he said, she said case because there's other evidence, but it is a he said, she said case at its core because there's no one around at the actual assault. So her testimony and the cross-examination are going to be huge. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.